Algebra 1, Lesson 22, Combined Inequalities. Let's start talking about combined inequalities. Combined inequalities are inequalities that can be interpreted with the words and or. These are also called conjunctions, and disjunctions, respectively, are concepts taken from mathematical logic, which you will eventually study if you plan to have a career in mathematics or computer science. In this lesson, we will try to keep it simple. A conjunction inequality is only true when both inequalities are true. For example, the following inequality would read as x is greater than -3 and x is less than 6. A disjunction inequality is true when at least one of the inequalities is true. For example, x is less than 5 or x is greater than -3. Here are a few rules to remember about combined inequalities. 1. Solve each part of the inequality separately. 2. Always remember the basics of the inequality operators. The operators point to the lesser number and open up to the larger numbers. 3. Read the inequalities in their logic form or in plain English to get the intuition of what you are trying to solve. Let's do a couple of examples. Example 1. Solve the following inequality. So this inequality is a conjunction, so we read it as x plus 2 is less than 7 and greater than 1. Now we can solve each inequality separately and find x. First, let's do x plus 2 is less than 7. Subtract 2 from both sides. We end up with x is less than 5. Now, let's do x plus 2 is greater than 1. Subtract 2 from both sides. We end up with x is greater than -1. So our final solutions are x is less than 5 and x is greater than -1. Example 2. Find the solution for 3x plus 8 is greater than or equal to 7, or -2x minus 6 is less than -10. These are disjunction inequalities, so that means at least one of these must be true for us to have a solution. Let's solve them for x separately. Let's start with 3x plus 8 is greater than or equal to 7. Subtract 8 on both sides. We get 3x is greater than or equal to -1. Divide by 3 on both sides, and we get our first solution. X is greater than or equal to -1/3. Now let's do -2x minus 6 is less than -10. Add 6 on both sides. We get -2x is less than -4. Divide by -2 on both sides, flip the sign to greater than, and we get our second solution. X is greater than 2. So our solutions are x is greater than or equal to -1/3, or x is greater than 2. We can also represent combined inequalities on the number line. For greater than or less than inequalities, we use an open or empty circle and draw an arrow through all the points that satisfy the solution up to negative or positive infinity. For greater than or equal to or less than or equal to inequalities, we use a closed or filled-in circle and then draw the arrow. If the solutions are between 2 points on the line, then no arrows need to be drawn. Just connect the points by drawing a thick line between them. Here are a few examples of inequalities graphed on the number line. And that's it for our lesson on combined inequalities. Remember, not all combined inequalities will have 2 solutions. That's why it's a good idea to check to see if your solutions make logical sense. See you in the next lesson.